All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for What's Your Story. Today I have Ramona Grothey. She's the owner and sole proprietor of R&T Home Improvement. Today we're going to learn a little bit about Ramona and how she got to where she is today. So welcome, Ramona.
Oh, thank you, Chris. So excited to be here.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask a couple questions and just feel free to just talk however you wish. The first question I have for you, Ramona, is, during our childhood kind of defines what we are and who we are. What's an important childhood lesson or struggle that helped you with R&T Home Improvement, with your business?
There's a couple of them.
Just pick one. What do you think would be the biggest defining moment that made you who you are today?
Realizing that I can do things that I thought I couldn't do, because my father, like even as a young age, as 6 or 7, I don't remember how old I was. He thought I could do it, and he sent me to grab some milk like miles away that I had to change to buses. It was winter. It was snow on the ground, and I just like, okay, well, if I, as a child, you don't consider like, oh my gosh, it's so cold. I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna get lost, or at least I didn't, because my father was like, it's okay, you can go, you can do it. So I did it, and just thinking of like what you can do as a child with like, proper guidance and, just paying attention to to things as an adult after you have like, training and like life lessons and like experience, you can do anything that you put in your mind.
Excellent. So you were how old when you were taking 2 buses?
6 or 7.
And your dad just told you to go get milk after exchanging 2 buses to go get it?
Yes, yes.
What did
yes.
your mom say at the time?
She wasn't home.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
She was not home. Yeah.
Fair enough. What was another defining moment that taught you about business in your earlier, either as a kid or as you were growing up as a teenager, maybe in school or something? Where did you really understand that you wanted to be in business for yourself?
My father had a business when I was growing up. He back in the day, like growing up in Romania, the villages in Romania didn't had gas, and
You mean
everybody.
for like vehicles type of gas?
No, for like heating inside the house, and I don't like if I don't remember exactly. Like I know there was electric, but everybody was heating their houses with wood. Like everybody had like the old type of terracotta, um, like kind of like I don't know how to like, but anyway, like that's what they used to heat up the room, the houses, and to cook. Actually, I don't know if you've seen like older movies or any documentaries where the stove is basically this aluminum iron made thing that you can just take this like kind of like the thing that you cook on, and underneath is like where you put the wood, and the fire is just. So that's how they used to cook back there in the villages. So like there was people that were had like stoves with gas, like but just bottle gas. But the gas was not ran in those parts. So my father had a tractor that was like custom made so you can cut wood with that like tractor. So that's what he did there. So he had a business, and he was very entrepreneur and stuff like that. But I remember as a child, I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to work growing up. I want to be a boss. So I got to be a boss, to be the owner of a business, and, to have people that work for me. But I, obviously as a child, I wanted to be a boss because I didn't want it to work. And in my mind as a child, it was like, okay, a boss doesn't work, just sits there and gives, everybody like kind of like you do this, tells everybody what to do. So I was like, that's why I wanted to be a boss as a child. But
Okay.
like,
Okay. Now that you're their boss, is that what happens?
oh no, very far away from that.
Okay.
I have to work.
Yeah. We all kind of have to work.
Yes, yes.
Name a time as you were a kid that you failed And how did that failure set you up for later success?
That's a hard one, Chris, because I don't think I thought about stuff like that as a child. Oh, there's a good one. There is a good one. In Romania, when you finish 8th grade and you go into high school, at that point, I'm not sure how everything is set up now. You have to take a test, and the score of the test will place you in whatever high school. So to like it was kind of like to an entry way thing. So I had to take a test in 8th grade, so I will know which high school I go into. And I had this one teacher. I don't remember. He wasn't teaching math. It was more like something else that, but it was very like math related. And I was scared of that teacher. And when oh no, I think it was the other way around. Okay, so my mom was like, okay, I need to you need to get prepared for this test. So you need to have somebody to tutor you on math. So she found this teacher. Now that's how it was. She found the teacher, and he was a tall man, and he had a very kind of like a face that to me was scary. I was scared of him, and I don't know why. It was just like his like whole like demeanor, and I didn't want it to didn't want him to tutor me anymore because I was scared of him. And I told my mom, I was like, can you find me another teacher? So then when I went into high school, she found me another teacher. Like I insisted, and I was like, Mom, he's so scary. I don't know. So when I went to high school, he was one of my teachers.
Cool.
So him being one of my teachers kind of like made me face that, kind of like I had to, I mean, like, okay, he's my teacher. I'm gonna have to do the best of it. And I got to know him better. And he always made a point. Every time he had a question, he would be like, Ramona, you come here in front of the table and write on the chalkboard the answer to this question. Or so he always like pointed me out of everybody in the classroom. There were like 32 children in the classroom, and he always like pointed me out. So I got to know the man better. And back in the days, it was different. Like teachers will like say, listen, I have this kind of work that I need to do at my home, or they own certain lands, and they're like, we're gonna help. Who wants to help? And when they used to like give us fruits or stuff like that, or very, I don't ever remember like being paid, but who wants to help out? So, and he was always like, oh, I hope I'm going to see you there. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess I have to go. So I got to know him better. And after knowing him better, I realized that he was an amazing person, a very knowledgeable person. He's just like being a child, and like kind of like a first, I was like, that's kind of like taught me never, judge, by the cover, kind of like a book by the cover, wait until you get to know the person. So I got to know the person, and I realized he was an amazing person, and it was just me, being a silly child.
Wow, amazing story. It's
Yeah.
funny as you mentioned about the book and the cover. I was thinking that in my head as you're telling me about this, because that's exactly what somebody would say to me as well. So.
Yes. But, I was just like 8th grade. How old are you in 8th grade? What, 12, 13, somewhere there. So, a kid.
Excellent. So let's talk about advice. You're a business owner. I'm a business owner. And if there's somebody starting their own business today, whether it was a kid that's 5 years old or, somebody who's left the corporate world at 50 years old, what's the one piece of advice that you learned when you were young that helped change or help you be who you are today?
I think the most important thing is to believe in yourself. There's obviously a lot of other advices that you can give from the experience that you had in your life, but believing that you can do what you set up to do, it's the most important thing.
I would so agree to that. Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Believe in yourself and just ignore
Yes.
everybody else. Just go do it.
Exactly. Because you will have people that will be like, okay, this is going to be hard, or this is going to be impossible to do, or, there's always, people that will go that way, or there's a lot more things. But that will like kind of like stop you or slow you down, which is okay to slow down, but as long as you believe and you do you work hard, obviously that's another advice to work hard. But if you don't believe, you're never going to put that hard work and start doing that hard work, because you're going to give up. So you really believe in yourself and don't give up.
How do you handle failure?
Just try to learn from it. That's the only
Perfect.
thing. That's all the only thing that you can do. It's okay to get upset or frustrated. Once in a while, we're all human. And if anybody will tell you, okay, business having owning a business, it's going to be a smooth road, they're lying to you. But you just have to learn from your mistakes and keep going.
Excellent. So speaking of mistakes, what's one of the biggest storms that you've ever weathered? The key challenges that got you through it?
Ugh, there's a
Just
couple
one,
of them.
just one of the key things. You don't have to go into all of it. Just one key thing that got you through one of the biggest storms that you've had to weather.
So one of the biggest storms I had to have, to weather was, and that got me through it, was my son. Was not necessarily anything that he did or said, just him being here, and I had to weather the storm to be there for my son and be able to take care of him and provide him with everything that I believed and thought that he should have.
That's actually what started me talking about cybersecurity is my family
Right.
and my kids and their
Right.
data, where things are at. It changes your perspective. So I don't care what anybody else thinks. I need to get the word out about this.
Exactly, exactly. I always say that having a child kind of like made me better. Made
Yeah.
me, yeah. Like sometimes we don't do things for ourselves. At least sometimes I'm like kind of put myself on the last place, and I do things for everybody else and for my business and for my family. And I forget about myself. And but then having somebody to do these things for you sometimes gives you more incentive than if you'll do it for yourself, which that may be wrong, and it's probably wrong, because you have to do things for yourself first and make sure you're in the right place mentally and physically and healthy to be able to take care of others. But yeah, sometimes we don't do that.
Did you ever almost give up?
Yeah, almost.
What stopped you?
So for example, business wise, I've always been like independent, and didn't like people telling me what to do.
I know.
So I guess the idea of going to work for somebody else, which I had people that I worked for that were amazing too, and the other way around. So it's just a matter of like finding something that you like and somebody that you like doing it for. But I didn't want it to go through that, so I was like, no, I would just like I like to be my own boss.
What message would you give somebody who is on the verge of quitting?
Don't. It's like, so it's hard, like kind of like doing what you're doing, but just imagine trying to learn something else. So like where you go, you already know what like let's say you started a business and it took, it's usually like the fourth or fifth year in a business, third, it all depends on the business, the person, where it's going to get harder, or you have to like, jump through more hoops than usual. And, but then if and obviously like I think you can make any business work as long as you're looking from the right angle and you're doing the right things. And if there's something that does not working, you have to be like asking yourself, what am I doing that's not working, what should I do to make it work? But if you're gonna, so let's say you are in a business for 3 or 4 years and you're considering of like quitting and maybe get another job or like find like start another business, for example, then you're gonna have to start from the beginning and learn more and set up everything else. It's kind of like you're just putting yourself to fail again and again. But like at this point, you already had 4 years invested in it. You put money in, you put time, you put energy, you put a lot of things. So just look at it from maybe get somebody else's opinion, see what else you can do to turn it around.
That's excellent. It's a prime example of your experiences make you who you are, and all the failures you had, you've learned from and you built upon. So failures are part of the process, part of the journey.
Correct.
If everything was easy, everybody would do it, right?
Right.
So there's plenty of room out there. So it's not easy, but you're saying that if you put your hard work behind it, you put your faith in yourself, then you're going to succeed one way or the other.
Correct. Yes, you put it in words a lot better than I can.
Just paraphrasing a little bit here. So let's talk about your business, because it sounds like you've got a lot of experience in the business. So what is it that you do and who do you serve?
Okay, so we own a residential remodeling business, and we serve York County and surroundings. So residential remodeling, what that implies, we remodel kitchens, bathrooms, finish basements, a whole entire house. We do like decks, porches, so everything residential, everything that you have inside a house and outside. Well, not quite everything, because we don't do siding or roofing,
But you've got people for that.
well, I got people for that.
You've got
Yes.
people for about everything, right?
Yes. We got people for everything.
Instead of what you sell, what's the core transformation or benefit your customers experience?
They get a contractor that cares. They will get a contractor that doesn't just look at this as a job, as a way of making money. Is looking at helping people, improving their homes, because like that's your most important. Like your home is your retreat, is where you spend a lot of times where. If you go outside into the world, then you get all upset and frustrated. You have your little corner of peace and quiet. So it's very important to have somebody that understands that that is your home, understands that there's your children, that respects you and listens to what you want and does what you want and tries to make your vision true. Without trying to impose my ideas or my guys' ideas, and doing that, as well as providing good quality communication. There's like a lot that I envision, when I like all the customer service and the services that we provide. Kind of like you're busy. You have life, you have children, you have a job. So if you need to remodel, it doesn't have to be hard. We like to make remodeling easy, and we care about what we do, and we care about the customer.
Let's dig in that a little bit more. There was an example before we were talking here that you told me about an issue that you picked up because a contractor has failed or has some issues. What's one of those stories that you can tell for our listeners?
So there's a lot, unfortunately.
Just pick one. I know there's a lot in the IT world as well. So what's the one that had the biggest impact? So I think earlier you were saying something about a customer, they weren't getting calls back, or when the job was done, it was not done right. The boards were leaning sideways.
Oh, that's right. So yes, it was a basement. The customers were finishing the basement for their daughter and son-in-law. To move in with them, and they were a little bit of time restricted because of like them having to move back home, and they hired somebody. They started framing the basement, but they framed it all wrong. So when you frame a basement, the framing has to be 16 inches to center. There was nothing of that kind. They were like all over, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20. The 2x4s were not straight because they did the top and bottom plates. They installed them first. It sounded from what the customer was saying, because the customer said they heard a lot of banging coming from the basement, which they shouldn't have heard banging. You cut everything for dimensions. So it sounds like they installed the top and bottom plates, and then they banged the 2x4s between the top and bottom plates. So that was one of the things that they did. And, like you have pipes that are coming, let's say like your water line where you have the meter and stuff like that. So they put the 2x4s behind that, their water line. So the pipe was stinking out. And so when you had to put a drywall, you couldn't put a drywall because the pipe was sticking out. So
Wow.
they did a lot of things that you shouldn't obviously do. So at one point, a customer realized what happened, and it fired them. So then that's when they reached out to us, and we were able to feed them in between our other jobs. And it was perfect because at that time I always give a 2 weeks. Like I don't like to commit to a certain day or a certain week because you never know, what happens, and things might take longer, like materials take longer, and a lot of times the customer likes to add to the scope of work once we are there and start working. So that's why I do the 2 weeks. And so we were able to kind of like feed them in there. And sometimes, I have customers, they want things right away. And at that point, with our customer, the jobs that we were doing, everybody was like, "It's okay," because I called everybody, "Do you mind if we're gonna be 2 weeks?" Kind of like, everything is gonna kind of shift 2 weeks into the schedule, and everybody was very nice and sweet. So we were able to fit them in and get the basement done for their daughter and son-in-law to move in with them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So how were they after that? So
Oh, they're amazing. We remain friends. They call us for every other project that they want to do. We're gonna do a bathroom for them actually in fall. Remodel one of their bathrooms. We ended up going to dinner a couple of times. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, my husband and I, and then the customer's wife, husband and wife. Yeah.
so they're not just clients, they're friends now.
No, yes, correct. We have a lot of customers friends, clients friends.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
A lot of dinner and wine and dining, huh? So to
Yes,
speak.
yes. I even had a customer that told me that if I want the final check, the final balance for the project, we had to go. They wanted to take us out for dinner, and if we didn't go to dinner, we're not going to get the final pay. Yeah.
I don't know. Is that a good thing or not?
That is a good thing. That is a good thing. Yes. No, I love all our clients and customers. And obviously everybody is so different, and everybody has their own, lives and perception and stuff like that. But I feel like we've been blessed. We have really good customers.
That's excellent. That's always great to hear. You got good
Yes.
customers. They love
Yes.
you. You love them.
Yes.
They're not customers. They're friends. They're part of the family.
Yes, they are. Yeah. They are part of the R&T family. Correct.
So as you're talking about your customers, what is your ideal customer? What's the number one problem you solve for them? So for these people, are they a certain age range? Or are they just people through all walks of life? Different. Everybody has different things that they need at different times in their life. So do you have a special demographic that you deal with?
No. Our customers are from like you said, all life. That we have new homeowners. They're in their 20s. Right there, we know when they have a couple of kids to people that are retired. And for example, we're gonna do a bathroom for an older couple that live in one of these HOA homes where it's easier so for them to do the upkeep of the home. So yes, no, all range years everywhere. Yeah.
So are there any specific problems that you solve for them? Is there any one specific problem or any specific pain points that you try to address for them?
So I feel like we solve a lot of problems. So first of all, you have a contractor, a business that cares about you, and they'll do their best, listen to you, and you're the number one, you're the priority. Quality customer service, and then a lot of our customers have no idea about remodeling, or some of them have never remodeled anything in their home. So that's where I like to cater to, I like to spoil my customers, and I point them to everything they have to do. We apply for permits as well, all that stuff. And a lot of customers have never applied for permits. They are not aware of what that entails, all the documents they have to present, registrations, licenses, all that stuff. So we do that for the customers. We order the material. So let's say you have a basement is unfinished, you want to finish it. You just let us know, for example, what kind of shower you like, vanity, stuff like that. I always like research stuff and I send them to the customers and they can just pick it. Everything can be just done through the email and online. And I have customers that like to go to the showrooms and pick whatever they like from showrooms. And from that point, once they choose what they like, I order everything, make sure everything is delivered prior to the project start date, and from there on we. And when you're doing a bigger project, you're always gonna have questions or there's a lot of things to consider, and sometimes we run into something. Okay, so let's say how many we said we're gonna do 4 or 6 lights. How many lights we didn't finalize, or where they want the lights placed. So my guys, I always train them to okay, you don't do anything based on what you think you want to do or what you think is going to look nice. You always consult the customer. And the customers are always yes, please. I always tell them, okay, are you okay? Are you available? And try to work with the schedule. And if we have any questions that just we just realize, okay, we did never finalize this or that. So communication is very important.
Excellent. That sounds like that's the secret sauce of your business.
Yes.
Communication is key.
Communication is key anywhere.
So what is it that makes you stand out from all the other remodelers and contractors out there? Why should somebody pick you?
Yeah, I feel like I touched a little bit about that. So that's because we care. We are there for you. We are a contractor that cares about your home and tries to make your life easy. So that is the main thing that I think it sets us apart. There's contractors out there that probably do wonderful work, but they don't have that. I feel like this way I connect with the customers because we're very personal. That's what I hear from a lot of our customers. That oh, you're so different. You are so personal. You're so patient. You listen to me, and you answer all my questions. So this is the main thing, kind of your own personal contractor.
Nice.
Your contractor, your to-go contractor for anything.
Fantastic. I asked that again because I heard you at BNI and said we're the contractor that cares.
Right.
And I was trying to get that on this. So
right.
I was going with that one.
Yes.
So let's talk about the next 3 to 5 years. What's the most exciting vision or impact that you hope to make?
So ever since I started the business and I'm from Romania, and all the jobs that I had so far were not I was local, but I was not in the community. So I got to learn about our community, about all the family-owned businesses there are in our community. So and this community has been so good for us, to us. And I would love to be able to give back to the community just by doing what we do, but as well as helping. I have my weakness is helping children. I love children, and I think obviously the children are the future. So I always wanted to be able to help children, orphans, children that are medically, I have medically issues. I will just kind of get back and help the community.
Absolutely. Perfect. How have you collaborated with Coulson Technologies?
So you and your team have been amazing. I love technology, but I am afraid of technology, and you are helping me with and always answering my questions and having the patience to answer my question and being there. Every time I reach out, you are always there and right on the spot, helping, answering questions. It's just I love it. It's an amazing partnership, and amazing to find another business owner that have the same goals and ideals that we do. So I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. We're the IT group that cares.
There you go. I think I remember. I think at one point I don't know was it I think it was easy. That was like the thing that we were like kind of like going back and forth.
Making technology easy?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you stole it from me. No, you stole it from me.
I had it in print first, so I don't know if that counts, but I'm okay to share it with you. The
That's-
world's big enough. You're the
all right.
contract. You're making contracting. What was it? Making building easy or something? What was it? Making building easy.
Making remodeling easy.
Making remodeling
yeah,
easy.
making and like what was the other one that I like? But you said you don't like it, or somebody else said. But I do like that. Like that we're the contractor that who cares, because
I like that. Yeah.
it is, we do care, and it's not just me, you know, because I own the business. Like everybody, like all my guys are the same way. Like and like I go to certain jobs to see how things are going, and because I like to, like I'm like those eyes, kind of like when they're close to finish, to pick up certain things that they don't see or miss. And they don't like it when they see me coming, but and they say like, oh, we did this for the customer. They had this patchwork that needed to be done, or like this light that needed to be fixed, and they ask if we can do it, and we just did it. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, okay. So they just do it. Like they don't consider that, okay, well, I'm not gonna get paid for this, or you know, it takes longer, or man, no, they just do it.
You know how many times we get called on site to fix one problem and we get pulled in 16 different directions? Oh, hey, while you're here, I need you to help me fix this or help me fix that. And we do the same thing. And I'm like,
Yes.
you were supposed to go on site for half an hour and it took you 3 hours. What happened?
Yes.
Well, Joe came over and asked me this, and then Cindy asked me this, and then Scott asked me that. So it usually happens when you're on site because they know that you're willing to help, and they're not the one footing the business. The business owner is.
Right.
So it's hard to send a 3-hour invoice when you already promised them 30 minutes.
Right. Like, and that's why I always have that conversation. You know, like we're gonna help. You know, and if there's more stuff, you know, we have to, you know, add, because you know that's our bread and butter to it. But we're always happy to help. And it's just such a difference, you know, when you're dealing locally than dealing with like a bigger corporation that like those are like so frustrating sometimes. We have Square for our, like, you know, credit card transactions, and I had an issue at one point, and I called their customer service, and I was basically told out flat that, okay, that's not our problem, nothing we can do.
Wow.
So it's not the first time, but like you know, so when like once you get bigger, you know, I guess your client, your customer is just a number to you. But you know, for family-owned businesses, this is our bread and butter. This is what we do. So if we do poorly for you, then we're out of our, you know, bread and butter.
That's it. It's interesting you said you're the contractor that cares. In fact, part of our IT service plans is called Coulson Care.
Coulson Care. There
Coulson
you go.
Care. And we have limited, small business, and enterprise.
You
but
stole
we
another
care.
thing from me.
Hey, I don't know if I stole it from you or you borrowed it, or you and I are on the same thought thread, I think.
I think we are on the same.
Yeah, I think it is. We're tuned into that whatever that cosmic consciousness is or whatever. So it's pretty interesting. So we care. We have the services in there, but it's all about getting to the end pain points of the customer and trying to help them.
Right.
At the end of the day, you give them peace of mind knowing that you're on the case, whether it's a supplier issue, whether it's the walls in the wrong place or a contractor screwed up. You're there to help them. You're there to help get them out of their problem and to build long-term relationships with them.
Correct. You know, talking about businesses, and you know what to do, and you're always learning and you're always improving. So now talking to you, I realize that maybe I should take some not speeches, you know, to become a better speaker.
I was part of Toastmasters for 10 years.
Okay.
And the only thing it tells you to do is to understand how to read people, how to communicate. I still sometimes screw up my commercials in our networking group every week because I try to throw something random out there. I challenge myself instead of reading the same commercial week after week after week.
Right.
I challenge myself and let's come up with something different and unique. Sometimes I'll trip over my words. And speaking of tripping over words, when I started giving my presentations, I would screw up at the beginning of my presentation, so then it took care of all my fears. Because what's the biggest problem with public speaking?
Yeah,
I'm afraid I'm going
messing
to
up.
screw up. So I purposely screwed up at the beginning of it and said, okay, I screwed up. Now what?
I already messed up, so
Right.
we're good. Oh,
And
good.
you know, the rest of the presentation was smooth sailing because I didn't have to worry about it.
Yes.
But getting those butterflies in your stomach to go into formation is the trick to it. Even before we started the podcast, I said, yeah, I'm a little nervous too. And I'm the one hosting this podcast. So it's like, it's one of those challenges. I wouldn't worry about that as the public speaking part of it. Just keep communicating. Just keep
Right.
talking with people. That's what it
Right.
comes down to.
Right. It's just like, I guess sometimes it might be the butterflies or like, I'm going to blame it on English being my second language.
It only works for so long.
I know, right? It's been here for 23 years. It's just words don't come when you want them, you know?
So make up your own.
Okay.
Make up your own.
That is all good and fine as
make
long
'em
as
up.
people will understand.
No, but the thing is you catch them off guard when you say things that they don't understand. Like, what does she mean by that? And then you get a chance to rephrase it. You get them to get engaged instead of just checking out, telling them about the same thing that every other contractor said. That's what makes you unique, and that's why they love you.
Right.
Ramona,
Sounds good.
it's a pleasure having you. Is there anything else that you want to say? How can people find you?
We are online. We're on Google, social or like search engines. We're on Facebook. We're on Angie's. We're on Yelp. So they can find us on all of these platforms, or they can call us at 717-318-0205. The phone is always next to me. It's tied up it's glued to my hand. So, business, as a business owner, you have that phone with you all the time. So give us a call, and we'd love to take care of any of the projects, listen to you, and get that vision to life.
Are there any projects too big or too small for you?
No, we do small projects, we do bigger projects, and we're fortunate that we are we know so many people in the community, so we can do bigger projects because we can involve more of our contractor friends that we know to help out, so we can do bigger projects as well. Okay. That's another amazing thing, knowing and helping everybody.
You just love to help people.
I just love it.
Because you care.
I just love it because I care.
That's
because
awesome.
I care, and I appreciate all our customers and their business, and I'm so thankful for them choosing R&T and helping us and being here for us.
Okay, and that's Ramona with R&T Home Improvement.
Ramona with R&T Home Improvement.
Okay, well, Ramona, thank you again for being on our show here, and I appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you, Chris. You've been amazing. Appreciate it.
Thank you.